All right, guys, we're about to cover my favorite section of TAT, which is the webhook section. You'll see this neat little icon right here that I just clicked, and that's the webhook area. Now, this also has triggers like R1, but we're going to cover webhooks in specifically today and how to add and create webhooks in TAT. So when you land here, you'll want to go to add, and you'll want to add a new webhook. You'll be able to obviously select the account where you want this going from, and you want to select a template that you want to fire when this webhook signal comes in. Quantity, so the number of units you'll want to sell of this specific trade, so usually one, let's say, and the trigger name, test webhook. Now you'll want to give it start and stop times. I just say for example purposes, let's have this start at 9:33 a.m. and have this stop at 3:23 p.m. Again, this is just for example purposes. And then expiration minutes, meaning, how long you want it to wait if the trade can't be found, let's say 3 minutes. And then you could decide if you want notifications. I don't, but that's where you could enable notifications. And in this entry condition section, you want to select webhooks. Max executions, I usually, control it here. I usually like to go all out. And max open trades, I'm just putting in, 20. Entry conditions, and obviously this is all editable based on your preferences, but it's just, if I'm going to select the webhook, I want it firing all the time. Entry conditions, so besides the webhook triggering, and normally I'm triggering off TradingView, you could also set a condition, let's say certain VIX levels, or whatever other conditions you preset natively in TAT, you can control it. Once you've put in these key parameters, you go to save trigger, and now voila, it is available for you to further review. This is key here, guys. The webhook data is what you want to focus on. And obviously this is going to be blurred to protect, privacies here, but just so you understand, and I'm going to switch over to TradingView shortly, show you where things go, but you're going to need the webhook URL for TradingView, and you're going to need the webhook pose data, meaning trade going out. And if you want to webhook out of trades, meaning exit trades via webhooks, you're going to need the early exit webhook ID as well. This is key when you're creating notifications and inputting this data into your TradingView script. Again, some of you may be triggering off some other platform, but for this specific example, we're going to be reviewing triggering from TradingView. So that's the TAT component of this. All right, guys. Now we are in the TradingView portion of things, which is where you're going to set up the actual signals. We at TAT are going to aim to provide custom signals to all of our paid users as an additional benefit of using the platform. So for this example, we're going to use a common one that I think a lot of people are very familiar with, and that is the TAT opening range break, also known as ORB. So we're going to select that and add that to our view. And now we're going to see this come up on our view, as you see right here. So this is where things get set up. You're going to want to obviously arrange your, the actual signal based on what you've tested, but that's not what we're going to focus on right now. We're going to focus on how do you actually get this to work and actually send signals to TAT. You'll see right here is you're going to want to trigger webhooks to be on, and you're going to want to create a separate webhook for long trades, meaning breakouts to the upside, and then short entry pose data for breakdowns to the downside. And simply going back into TAT, and we talked about this, webhook pose data gets planted directly into here. And you simply copy and paste it, and that is now in there. Now, this is specifically for long trades. So let's say for this example, I just wanted to trigger if orb breaks out to the upside, trigger some sort of template to fire in TAT. Here, properties, I like to normally readjust this to make sure that when I'm back testing this, that it's providing me all the possible signals, and I'll usually change this to quantity 1 and then orders 10,000 pyramid. So just unlimited amount of entries when pulling this on the backtest. Style, you could style however you want, just in terms of visibility. And that is that. Now, how do you get this to actually say? So you've set this up now to actually for the script to be able to read your post data. Now, how do you get this to signal? You click on more and you add alert. Now, adding alert is quite straightforward. You're going to want to select the orb breakout. That's what we're specifically triggering off. And you just want the alert function. You just want to select alerts here. You want an interval, same as chart, and you want it to be expiration open-ended, meaning you don't have to keep going and resetting the sort of the period of where it's looking for this specific message. It's constantly looking for this breakout to occur and signaling something to the chart and TV, and then TV is also signaling something to TAT. Here is the alert name. So you can call this whatever you want. You can call this orb upside. This is just what's going to appear. And this is the important part. This is where you're going to want to, again, TAT is going to provide you a URL that you're going to just copy and paste into here. This is so TAT can get a message saying, okay, something triggered, read what it is, and then send it to the appropriate account. And that's what you're going to want to put in here, the TAT webhook URL that you're going to get in your specific TAT. And you could decide to play a sound or not. You could decide to send an email to yourself. That's all up to you. But this key component right here is the webhook URL. Now that, and then you're going to create that. You're going to hit create, and it's going to create a signal that you will be able to see in this section right here. You're going to see orb upside break, and you're going to see that signal being live, and it's basically ready to go. Now, additionally, this is kind of the strategy tester part. Those of you familiar with it, you'll actually be able to pull signals directly off of TradingView. And you can look at last 365 days, and it's going to look back the last 365 days and look for every time there was a breakout. And you can clearly see breakouts here, both up and down side. And you can pull these things in as signals and plug them into your favorite backtesting software and be able to see, hey, is this a profitable idea? Does this have edge, and so on? And that is the TradingView portion of signal creation.